Hey everybody, welcome to the show. It's that time of the day. It's that time of the week. Guess what? It's Friday. It's a Freaky Friday. Friday the 14th.
Oh, threw me for a loop.
Happy hour edition of Crackpot, the conspiracy podcast. The podcast that every week covers a different conspiracy theory.
Different one. We don't do the same one every week?
Have we done that? No, I don't think we have.
We've talked about football a few times.
Uh-huh. Hey, speaking of which,
we got
a very nice email from a listener, Gracie, I believe, who was saying, hey, look, I actually like it when you guys talk about football, and I don't like football.
I hate football, but I like hearing you talk about football.
I'm like, that is the greatest.
Really nice.
I know, that was fantastic. I'm like, yes. So thank you.
Yeah, no, you're awesome. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of comments about the football.
Well, good.
You talk about football too much.
Oh, that is not true.
I wish you wouldn't talk about football so much. Could you tone down the football? But speaking of football,
thank you. Yes,
Packers. Unfortunately, will not be going to the Super Bowl per my prediction.
Right. Well,
38 years running. But they were pretty darn close.
And you didn't go 16-0 either, did you?
Went 13-3. We were 6 wins above, like predicted we would be.
Really? Was it that bad?
Yeah. Well, new head coach, new offensive scheme.
Okay.
Like, we're the Packers.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because unfortunately, your beloved Packers lost.
Yeah, they got creamed.
It was not a good game.
No, and yeah, I mean, you talked to me before that game. I did not think they were going to win. I was just hoping for a good game.
Well, I was surprised the spread was at I think it was 49ers -7 or -8.
I don't even know what that means.
Do you want to know? I can explain it.
I would love to, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, in fact, should I break down how the betting thing works?
No.
Okay. So it's real simple. So whenever a team has a minus scored next to it, it means, in fact, they're favored to win.
Okay.
So if it says 49ers -8, it means Vegas thinks they're going to win by 8.
Okay.
So you have to do the math backwards in your head. So, so the team that's favored is the team that has the minus next to it. And I'll explain why in a second here. But basically, what it's saying is that the 49ers are favored to win by 8 points. Which to me was really surprising. I was thinking it would be more like a minus
17.
No, I was actually
really?
thinking like a -3, -5.
Oh, okay.
-3 is actually at a neutral site is a pick 'em, more or less. Anyways, Sue, what I was going to say was that was actually really surprising. I would have taken the Packers on a -8, and I'm glad I didn't. Obviously, I don't bet. I don't gamble, especially not football. But that was much higher than I thought.
Interesting.
So anyways, that's the point spread. That's the point difference, at the end of the game, who wins by how much. And so if you pick the 49ers, they covered the spread, obviously. They scored more than 8 points than the Packers. And so therefore, if you bet on them, you won big. Although I will say, usually the team that's favored to win, from a gambling perspective, because Vegas wants to incentivize the underdog.
Yes.
They want you to take risks. You're not going to win as much money if you're betting on the team that's favored to win.
Oh. Okay.
So you got to remember that Vegas is always trying to incentivize risk taking. So it's always like, okay, well, I'm going to take Packers to
cover
win
the
this
spread
game. Exactly, right? So in that case, then you're going to win more money.
Oh.
And that's how the money line comes in. So you look at what the money line is.
That is so I can barely do my monthly budget. That is so. I mean, there's many reasons I don't gamble. Let's just say that is a very good reason I don't gamble.
Once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad, but it is it's just one step further with numbers than I care to take.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see, Vegas is usually pretty accurate. This is why it's interesting. So once you start looking at those, then it's you'll see typically who could win. So anyways, I was surprised.
Anyway, lousy game. But, the one, so I talk to my dad whenever they play, score a touchdown, big play, turnover. I call him, he calls me. And, I just kind of called him midway through the second quarter. Man. He's like, well, is your feet ahead of mine? I'm like, no, I just want to say, it's actually kind of enjoyable to watch because it's not stressful. We can just watch football and not get wrapped up. And he's like, that's a good point.
I was going to ask, is it more devastating to lose by, let's just say, a missed field goal than to get smoked?
Oh, absolutely.
That game reminded me quite a lot of the Vikings NFC Championship game 2 years ago against the Eagles, 38-7. And it was like, at no point did anybody have any hope after, say, maybe the first 10 minutes.
Right.
It was like, we're
No, I mean, one of the worst losses as a Packer fan I've ever experienced was the Seahawks-Packers NFC game. Like, I was all alone. Michelle took the kid to like a play or something like that.
Yeah.
And she called it intermission. She's like, what's happening in the game? I'm like, we're going to the Super Bowl. It's a foregone conclusion. Woo! I'm running around the house. And then it was just like drive after drive. It's like, they can't possibly get a turnover here and a touchdown. It's like, they can't possibly recover an onside kick. It's like, that was... Anyway,
that is the worst though, when you're winning by just enough where your brain kind of does the math on like what it takes to lose, right. And then you watch it slowly unveil itself before your very eyes, and you're like, oh, that just happened.
It was And I don't want to talk about that. I'm getting flashbacks. Birds, Zach.
Yeah, Seahawks.
Birds, the word. Cardinals, Ravens.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, I will say, I really thought this was going to be a Ravens. Well, I don't know. Chiefs.
No,
Ravens?
I thought it'd be Ravens Ravens Chiefs.
Ravens Packers. Don't hit the table because it's going to make the mics. Yeah. I do this every single time.
Yeah, it's true. What did I?
No. Saints. Ravens.
Saints. Yes,
yeah,
everyone was hot on the Saints.
Yeah, and the Ravens.
Yeah.
There you go.
What shows what we know.
Actually, if you really want to win a lot of money, you bet now on next year's Super Bowl winner.
Just do the opposite of what we think.
Yeah.
And you'll be rich.
Yeah.
And you can probably own the podcast.
They do this the minute the big game is over with. And then you can start betting on next year's winner. And that's when, if you take like the Browns next year or something, that's just some...
Oh, it's like 1,000 to 1 odds.
Oh, yeah. And then it's just like you can be like a billionaire overnight. But anyways, don't do that, people. Or actually, no, do that.
Do that.
Take betting advice from us. Take legal advice from us. Take medical advice from us. We are absolutely pros in all this stuff. So
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. We talked about birds. We shouldn't say a ton about the fact or about what it is, other than that the conspiracy is what? Birds are not real?
Birds aren't real. Everyone knows this.
You have to tune in Monday to find out why.
And what are your thoughts?
On the show?
Yeah, or the conspiracy, or just in general.
Well, I think, as it relates to the conspiracy, I will say that there were more angles to it than I expected. Mm-hmm. Because to me, it was very much a kind of a binary thing. It's black or white. They're not real or they are real, whatever. But there is actually kind of a lot to it. And it took an interesting turn towards the end that I didn't quite see coming, related to kind of bigger picture, more philosophical topics, right? So I don't want to reveal too much, but I will say that was a surprise.
Yeah, no, I agree. Mm-hmm. I surprise myself sometimes.
Yeah, well, both of us, yeah. Nice work.
I want to, because I know at this point no one's listening, but I want to give a shout out, and we'll probably do this in a more formal way. If you, dear listener, have ever had a weird experience with an owl, I want to know about it. Drop me a line, leave a voicemail, call us up, send us an email, Instagram, whatever it is. If you're like, Tim, that's the most random weird thing you've ever said, you're not wrong, but just move on. Doesn't matter. If it's making sense to you, you know what I'm talking about. Let me know. I really want to hear about it.
This would be great. I want some more listener feedback.
Yeah.
I really do. There's nothing better than a voice memo or
that one you sent today was just
dynamite.
I played it 3 times. Yes. It was so nice.
Dynamite.
It was so fun.
So please do, if you're listening and you have a hot take, doesn't have to be necessarily.
Oh no, you don't have
owls,
to say anything exciting or earth-shattering or insightful. Just say, hey guys, calling you from Melbourne.
What is it, Medford?
Medford.
It's in every state, the town that's in it.
Springfield?
Yeah, there you go, that one too.
Yeah.
So, do we have a Springfield, Minnesota?
Yeah.
There must be, right?
There has to be.
It's near War Road, I'm sure. All right.
Crookston.
Yeah, oh man.
Sleepy Eye.
Yeah, been there.
All right.
Cool. Well, folks, that was a hot happy hour.
Hot.
Couple of hot takes.
Sure.
Anyways, have a great weekend. Whatever you're doing out there, hopefully have a great time. All right, let's wrap it up here.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.